Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today, this is a video I've been wanting to record for absolutely ages, and I've just got around to finishing the planning for it. We've got 8 pages on this topic, and as you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be ranking every Wrexham AFC signing we have made under the ownership of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. There are a whole host of players on this list, some that have gone on to be, some could say, club legends, and some, yeah, the less said the better. But before we get going in today's video, if you're looking for all the best Wrexham AFC content on YouTube, this is the place to be. Make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button. Let's see if we can hit 350 likes on today's video, and of course it'll be on screen here. Everyone that has supported the channel further over the past couple of months, I cannot thank you enough for the continuous support. And without further ado, let's get talking Wrexham signings. So we're going to be going in season order now, starting from the first full season of the takeover, the 2021-22 season. Sean Brisley, F. Now, this was our first ever signing under the takeover, well, joint signing, and Brisley joined on a 2-year deal, but left after only 1 year, playing 5 games in all competitions. Definitely a signing to forget. Liam McAlinden, C. Now, probably a low-end C for McAlinden, but I think he was a good squad player to have around, obviously, the squad. And, you know, he could play anywhere. He was versatile, left wing back, right wing back, up front, midfield, you know. Okay, he wasn't a player that set the league on fire, but, you know, he'd always be ready to, you know, jump in the team whenever he had to do. And, you know, we'll all remember him for that important tackle for that Paul Mullin last-minute winner to send us to Wembley. Paul Mullin, GOAT. Now, this was probably our best signing. This is our best signing under the takeover. 107 goals in 150 games. He is the best striker we've had in a long time. He's the best striker I've seen supporting Wrexham in my lifetime, and you know, he lived up to all the expectation, all the hype he had around him from dropping down 2 leagues. And, you know, he scored 107 goals. The stats speak for themselves. He is a machine up front, and, you know, I would consider him as a club legend. Harry Lennon, F. Now, it never really worked out for Harry Lennon at Wrexham, of course, due to injuries. He was massively injury prone, and, you know, he did show a couple of good signs here and there in a few games, but he could never stay fit. And, you know, like I said, he would have been a useful asset if he'd have stayed fully fit over his course at Wrexham Football Club. And, you know, it's disappointing because he retired at age just 28. So, yeah, I think we were expecting bigger things from Harry Lennon. Charlie Trafford. It is impossible to give Charlie Trafford a rank. Did he even exist at Wrexham? Ben Tozer, I've given an A. Now, he captained us, of course, to a promotion and played a huge role in our success in non-league, playing 106 games across 2 seasons. He was a top professional. Everything that was going on off the field, you know, he remained professional, and he always gave it all for this football club, and that's all we could have wished for as Wrexham fans. You know, of course, he was one of the first signings under the takeover, and I think he played a huge role in our success up the leagues. Again, did this man even exist? He's unrankable like Charlie Trafford. It is genuinely impossible to give him a ranking because I remember him signing, but just never played, never featured for us. David Jones, I've given an F. Some of these players on this list, I just can't believe we actually had them, and it seems ages ago since we last signed these players. And you know, the plan was always to keep David Jones on as a coach, and that's exactly what happened. He's still at the football club as a coach, but as a player, we only saw him play 4 league games. One of those, he scored an absolutely incredible goal on the first day of the season away at Solihull, and then I think the following game after he got a red card, and then that was sort of the end of David Jones. James Jones, I've given a B. Now, I've always been a fan of James Jones. I've always, you know, admired how he plays. He's consistently full of running and will always give it his all from minute 1 to minute 90, and his work rate is second to none. He's made 137 appearances for Wrexham at his time at the club, which is quite astonishing. 16 goals and 2 promotions under his belt. I think this is a really underrated bit of business from Phil Parkinson, and another player that played a big role in our success in non-league and League 2. Jake Hyde, I've given a D. Of course, he had that promising game against Eastleigh away where he scored a brace, but again, injuries just ruined his Wrexham career massively, and I think he's playing for Chelmsford City now. He was meant to be the man that would partner Paul Mullin up front, that would fire us to promotion, but it never really worked out for Jake Hyde. Bryce Asana, I've given a D. Now, another player that was hamstrung through injuries at his time at Wrexham Football Club. There were really promising signs, of course, coming from Leeds United. We saw what he was about. He was bombing it down that right-hand side and the left-hand side at times. You know, he was a pacey wing-back that would like to take on his man, but, you know, he just never really reached his full potential due to injuries. Aaron Hayden, I've given a B. Now, I think Hayden, of course, was really, really good in non-league. 19 goals in 2 seasons for a centre-back is genuinely ridiculous, and I think in his second season or first season he was like 10th top scorer in the National League, so it's genuinely crazy. I think that step up to League 2, he looked a bit shaky in some games. Again, injuries just got the better of him. He couldn't stay fully fit in the games that he did feature in. I don't think he really massively impressed for us. Ollie Palmer, A. Now, he might not have scored as many goals as Paul Mullin, but he's an equally as vital player into this Wrexham setup and has played an equally big role as we've gone up the leagues from the National League to League One, and he's still scoring goals. He's still in the starting lineup, 44 goals in all competitions, and a big fan's favourite. Tom O'Connor, I've given O'Connor an A. I think he's been immense since taking up that centre-back spot on the left-hand side. He is destined for a Republic of Ireland call-up at some point. Of course, he just needs to stay consistent in the back line, and that is what he has done for Wrexham Football Club. I think especially ever since we stepped into the Football League. Of course, injuries and playing in centre midfield sort of just didn't really work out for him in his first season at Wrexham, but you know, we've signed him I think for less than £100,000, so a massive bargain. Moving on to the 2022-23 signing, starting off with Kai Calderbank Park. I've no recollection of this player. He was a goalkeeper apparently. I genuinely cannot remember a single thing about Calderbank Park. Rory Watson, again unrankable. I remember the name at least, unlike Calderbank Park. I remember him being on the bench for a couple of games, and I remember thinking he might have been our cup competition goalkeeper, but again, we literally saw nothing of Rory Watson in a Wrexham shirt. Mark Howard, I've given a C. Now, I think he's been a good servant to this football club, and I think he did a really good job when he was emergency rushed into the starting 11 when Ben Foster did retire, and of course he played that role sort of in, like, say, the first 75% of our National League winning season. So, you know, he's been a good goalkeeper for us, a good servant to the club, and, you know, he's still at us, adding that experience into the goalkeeping department. Jordan Tunnicliffe, I've also given a C. Now, he never really put a foot wrong for us, and he was just too injury prone. I thought, you know, if he'd have played more and more games, there's a chance he might have been offered a new contract this season, but he could not stay fit, and we would like to have seen him play a lot more than he did. He's probably a League 2 quality defender. He's now playing for Solihull Moors, but I think he could have done a job in League 2, but it's whether you want to risk him because his injury history at Wrexham was not great. Billy Waters, I've given an F. Now, he had a good history of scoring goals for Halifax, for Barrow before signing for Wrexham, but where were these signs in a Wrexham shirt? He just didn't really look confident at all, and he's only started 3 games in his 3-year stay at Wrexham Football Club and looks destined to leave, whether it be in January or at the end of the season. Yeah, there was a lot of expectation for Billy Waters coming in. I thought he was going to be, you know, the goal-scoring striker that he was at Barrow, but again, it's massively disappointing that we have not seen the best of Waters. Sam Dolby, I've given a C now. He's had good stints in a Wrexham shirt, especially towards the end of the 22-23 season. He was on fire, his confidence was sky high, and you know, his scoring record might not have been that high, but that end to the season, that final like 10-12 games, he was on fire for us, and you know, he's now up in Scotland for Dundee United, and so there's a chance that his future at Wrexham Football Club could be extended. Super Ben Foster in goal, I've given a C now. Ben Foster provided us with one of the best moments post takeover, and probably the best moment in my lifetime supporting Wrexham Football Club. Of course, in that final 9 games, I think it was, of the season, he came in, he added that valuable experience, and he helped us get over the line an awful lot. I think if he wouldn't have made that Notts County penalty save, I think it probably would have been a D, but yeah, Foster, of course, he came in, added so much to the defence, and it's just a shame how it ended. Ryan Barnett, A. Now, bargain of the century, one of, if not the best fullback I've seen in a Wrexham shirt. His crossing ability is a joke, his chance creation is an absolute joke as well, and he is destined for the very top. And of course, he signed a new contract, so he will go up and up the leagues, hopefully, with Wrexham Football Club. Elliot Lee, A. Now, he's contributed a lot going forward since first signing for Wrexham. 35 goals in just over 2 seasons, and really stood up when Paul Mullin was injured at the start of our return to the EFL. He was, you know, fantastic. His goal scoring record, he led the line really well, and he has been a good servant for this football club and continues to be as we stand proudly in League One. Anthony Ford, I've given a C. Now, he played a big role in our promotion to the EFL. I think he played something like 36, 37 games in the National League winning season. He's a good squad player to have around, a bit like McElhenney, so I think a C is definitely fair for Ford. Owen O'Connell, I've given an A. Now, since we've returned to the EFL, he has been vital in our good defensive record and has been a big part of our back line, like I said, since returning to the EFL. I think he'd have been a nailed-on starter last season in League 2 for us had it not been for injury. Owen O'Connell is a rock at the back. Andy Cannon, I've given an A as well. He played a big role in our promotion last season, and he's come in leaps and bounds in a Wrexham shirt and has massively improved and continues to be a key part of our midfield in League 1. What a signing this was from Parky. Jacob Mendy, I've given a B. Now, he was great in our title winning season, and increased competition and injuries over the past season or so was massively limited opportunities for Jacob Mendy in a Wrexham shirt, and I think there are a couple of questions over his future, but like I said, that first season in non-league, he was fantastic. And moving on to the 2023-24 season signings, starting off with James McLean, I've given an A. He's exactly what we hoped for, he's exactly what we wished for. We knew the type of player he was before we signed him, and he's coming to Wrexham. He's a passionate player and one that will give it all for Wrexham. 21 goals and assists since first signing. It was always going to be an A for James McLean. Luke McNicholas, I can't give him a ranking purely because he hasn't played a league game for Wrexham Football Club. We've only seen him play a few appearances in the EFL Trophy, and of course he's got that loan spell at Rochdale at the minute where he seems to have hit form. George Evans, I've given a B. Now it would be an A for George Evans if we'd have seen him consistently play in a Wrexham shirt. Injuries and suspension has definitely got the better of Evans, but in the games that he's featured in, he's been a top performer for us, very composed on the ball and a great passer. Jack Marriott, I've given a B. Now it seems to be what we've been looking for Wrexham, and it seems to be what we're missing in this Wrexham team, a striker who will consistently press, and we've only seen this season his good goal scoring record, and it's unfortunately been cut short due to a broken fibula, so hopefully Marriott will come back better, and it's a massive blow, but this could have been an A if he'd have continued playing for us and would have continued scoring goals. Luke Bolton, I've given a D. Now, it might be harsh on Bolton, but we've genuinely just not seen enough of Luke Bolton in a Wrexham shirt. He's only started 5 games for us and, has never really nailed on that right-back spot and put his name in that right-back spot purely because of Ryan Barnett. And I can't really see Bolton becoming a regular in the team anytime soon. So, yeah, I think a D is probably about right for Bolton. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Will Boyle, I've given a C. Now, I think he's had his good and bad moments in a Wrexham shirt. And, he had some good performances at the back end of last season. But you're thinking back to Newport, you're thinking back to MK Dons. There are times that I think he wants to forget and we want to forget as Wrexham fans. Stephen Fletcher, I've given a B. Now, Street will not forget Stephen Fletcher's impact off the bench last season in League Two. Consistently, without failure, he would come off the bench, he'd make an incredible impact and would always chip in with a goal. I think he got 9 goals in his first season, and only 5-6 of those were starts, so he chipped in with some vital goals, especially late on in the matches for us. And finishing off with the 2024-25 season signings, starting off with Mo Fall. I'm not going to give Mo Fall a rank purely because I don't think it's fair to, because we haven't seen Mo Fall play a consistent string of games in a Wrexham shirt, especially in the league. We've seen him in the EFL Trophy, but it's a meaningless competition. Until we see Mo Fall play in the league for us, I'm not going to give him a ranking. There's clearly potential there, and like I said, I'll probably rank him when he's had a string of league games for us. Ollie Rathbone, I've given a B. Now, I think his last 2 performances have taken it up from a C to a B. We've sort of got a good glimpse of the type of midfielder Rathbone has been, and 2 really good performances against Exeter and Lincoln City. Will run his socks off and looks decent on the ball as well, so I think he's going to be an important player for us in the midfield. Great press of the ball, like I said, and a good bit of business. Josh Adam, again, I can't give a rank. We know he's got the quality, he's a good young and upcoming player, but we haven't seen him feature at all, not even in the matchday squad for Wrexham in the league, so yeah, I don't think it's fair to give him a ranking. Arthur Okonkwo, I've given an A. 22 clean sheets and one of the best young and upcoming goalkeepers in the EFL. It was no doubt that Wrexham thought of higher competition to sign Arthur Okonkwo. Great shot stopper, great from crosses, and like I said, yeah, he is one of the best young and upcoming goalkeepers around. Callum Burton, I've given a C. Now, he's come into this side and only conceded 1 goal in 3 games. I'm not going to jump to anything now and give him an A or a B ranking because, it is only 3 league games he's played for us, but I think this can creep up to a B if his form from now up until when Arthur Okonkwo is back can definitely drive him up to a B. We've only seen him play 270 minutes of league action, so despite that, he showed some really good signs in goal for us. Dan Scarr, B. Now, another player that we did poach from Plymouth Argyle who has been very solid in our back line. He really shows his experience and quality. One of my favourite signings that we have made this transfer window. 4 clean sheets when he has been featured in the back line. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Dan Scarr. George Dobson, A. Now, I think Dobson is one of the best midfielders I've seen play for us. Of course, people from the older generation have probably seen better midfielders, but for me, I just love his composure on the ball. He's a good passer of the ball, works well in really tight situations. Yes, he'll give you that slight heart attack moment every single game where he makes that stray pass, but I think people are quick to forget everything else that he does do in a Wrexham shirt and how good he is on the ball and how good of a signing he's been, especially on a free. Seb Revan, I've given a C. Now, I think he showed some good signs when he has played. Obviously, he's had limited opportunities to play for Wrexham. his start away at Bolton Wanderers, I thought he had a really good game. Sheffield United in the EFL Cup, and I think he's going to be a real asset for us going forward. Of course, he's currently still young, so I don't know if the plan is for Revan to sort of improve as a player and continue learning at Wrexham and then take over when James McLean does leave at the end of his contract. So, you know, I think, like I said, Revan, I think his final product does sort of need to be worked on, but when that does, I think he's got real potential to be a big player for us. And finishing off with the final signing of the video, Lewis Brun. I've given a C. Now, come the end of the year, the calendar year of 2024, this will no doubtedly be a B. I can see Brunt keeping his place in the starting 11 for games and games to come, and I think he will be, you know, a good player as time goes on for us. Of course, at the minute, like Burton, he's only started the 3 league games, but he's taken his opportunity really, really well. Great in the air, an imposing centre half, and, you know, a good bit of business yet again, as I've said many times in today's video. So yeah, that is it for today's video, ranking every Wrexham signing under the takeover. Let me know if I've had any shockers on this. I'd like to think I've been fair on these rankings, but like I said, I'd love to hear yours in the comment section down below. Make sure to subscribe, like, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in another video. Take care, guys. Up the town.